Kevin Hunter with Dave Ford here on the Business Forum Show, and we are at the Minneapolis Convention Center chatting with David O'Brien from Hidden Fence of Minnesota. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Thank you.
So talk a little bit about the organization. We've heard a lot about Hidden Fence, and as you mentioned before the interview, this is actually a family-owned business. I was actually under the impression that maybe it was a franchise.
Yes, we are a local family-owned company. My brother-in-law, Bruce Peterson, started this in 1992. And he's been a veteran in the business. He's probably one of the most knowledgeable people in the industry that does pet containment systems. So we now have the kids coming into the business. So my niece is actually over in the booth right now.
Gotcha.
So it's been a great family business for us, and we love our customer base. Obviously, very very well connected with them.
Now, one of the questions I have for you is, how has the technology changed since '92? Because when Hidden Fence Systems first came out, there was the type of fence that was available then, but I've seen like all kinds of different systems that are out there. So how has the technology actually changed?
It has changed quite a bit. In fact, the president of Pet Stop, the company that we rep for, is the original founder of the Invisible Fence Company. And he sold that company back in the 80s. And after he was out of the industry for 5 years on the non-compete, he came back and joined with Pet Stop. And so his engineers came with him, and they have the majority of the patents on the technology. So we have a lot of great things. Our collars have come way down in size and weight. We've got a patented tri-antenna system in the collar, so that no matter which way the dog is facing, they're not gonna miss the signal. So very very good, very dependable, reliable equipment. So we have the lightning protection system built into the board now, so it's not a separate unit. So we give you a lifetime lightning protection plan. So 10 years from now, if you take a lightning strike in the neighborhood and that electrical surge comes through and fries the transmitter board, we replace it free of charge.
Very nice. Dave.
Nice. I mean, I've had a little experience, not personally, with my neighbor. I live on a couple of acres, and I was going through the woods along the property line, and I noticed there's just this cable laying on the ground, and he happened to be out. I said, "Wayne, what's the deal?" He said, "Oh, that's the dog fence." I don't know if it ever really worked for his dog. I don't know if he laid it out properly or what, because his dog was always over in my yard anyway. I've heard some dogs do the just kind of muscle through it. I mean, I'm sure it's advanced considerably over the past 15, 20 years. What do you see as the big challenges, I guess, in selling it?
The biggest challenge for us is just getting the word out, because our biggest competitor has such a brand name recognition. So we find that most of our new prospects that talk to us say, I didn't even know you guys were there until I went on the internet and found you. So, but yeah, your comment about some of the dogs, whether it works or not, we find that the training process, the one that we use is called the Gentle Steps program. And we work with our customers because your dog trusts you more than they trust us, and your dog's gonna take to the system a lot better with you in control. And so our systems give you full and total control over all the adjustments. We're there, of course, by phone or in person if we have to come back and do additional visits free of charge to walk you through whatever part of the training you're having difficulty with. But that first day, we spend a good half hour with you and the dog showing you exactly what to do. And it's amazingly simple, and it's really rewarding. A lot of the people really enjoy it. They love to spend time with their dog. That's why they have one. So, and we find that if they do the steps as we lay it out, the containment, we give 100% containment guarantee.
Okay, so it is really more about, it's not the dog muscling through it, it's more about proper training and maybe installation and that going on with the setup.
The dog can muscle through it if they want to.
Yeah.
But we find that if they understand the system, and that's by easing them into it and understanding what it is, the less likely they're going to try to muscle through it.
Right.
But yeah, there are some really belligerent dogs that have a temperament that they want to try to challenge it. So we have ways that we can deal with that with stronger collars that give a much stronger correction. It's not designed to hurt the dog. It's designed to get their attention.
Nice.
And a lot of people will say to me, well, doesn't it hurt the dog? Well, your dog's going to feel a lot more pain if they're underneath a UPS truck in the street than they are from the correction they're going to get from our collar.
That's for sure, yeah.
And when I put it in those terms, most people, they understand.
They get that.
And who wants an unsightly physical fence all the way around the yard just to keep the dog in the yard?
Yep. No, absolutely. So you find your biggest challenge is the primary competitor you've got out there, but that also helps get your name out there in that there's that much more out there, right?
Exactly. And we all get along real well in the industry. My brother-in-law Bruce is very good friends with all the other dealers and distributors, and so it's a healthy competition. But because of that brand name recognition that they have, I mean, it's like Kleenex or anything else. I mean, people know Invisible Fence,
right?
Sure.
And so because we don't have the extreme deep pockets to do the radio and TV advertising that they do nationally, we are a local company. We're not in all 50 states. We're just here in the Minneapolis, St. Paul, and surrounding areas. So our biggest job is to work to get the word out, doing trade shows like this. We have a program where we help our customers to get the word out if they've had a good experience, and we reward them for doing that.
Yep.
Now I have a quick question for you, and this has to do with the do-it-yourselfers that like to do their own installations of things. Is this something that somebody could do as a DIY, and if so, would you recommend that somebody try to do an installation like this themselves?
Absolutely. This is not rocket science to put this system in. It's really not. What we try to encourage people to look at are, okay, it's going to take you the better part of a whole weekend to do it if you're doing it by hand with a shovel and digging the wire in. Second thing is the systems that you buy at the store have the absolute least amount of components inside, and there's a high likelihood, about a 40% chance the system is not going to work 100% effectively for you. The wire that you buy with those systems is very thin, and the coating on the outside is extremely fragile. So after one freeze-thaw cycle, that coating on the wire has multiple cracks all over. The minute the moisture gets through, the copper erodes, and you've got breaks everywhere. We put a wire in the ground that's got an extremely heavy burial jacket on it, so we guarantee that wire for 2 full years. And generally, the only thing that breaks our wire is either a shovel or a rodent or something that's digging down and wants to bite through it, which you're not going to avoid with anything.
Sure.
So, but the equipment that we have has multiple frequencies, so we can deal with interference that would be caused by cell phone antennas, transmitters, overhead power lines, Wi-Fi systems. There's all kinds of interference that can literally throw off a signal so that collar won't work properly. So we guarantee that by the time we leave your house, this system is going to be fully, completely operational, and we'll be able to make sure that it works. And if you're having any problems down the road, that's our guarantee to come back and fix it.
Any success stories that you'd like to share with our listening audience with regard to Hidden Fence?
Just about every customer we have is a huge success story. The people that I've called back a week to 2 to 3 weeks later after install are extremely happy. They just are, they came into it a little hesitant. Obviously, it's quite an expense that they maybe weren't looking forward to having. But once they put it in, they see how well the dog is taking to it. They are extremely happy. And if you read our Angie's List reviews, one of my neighbors wrote a 3-page review, it seemed like. I could not believe. And just to see the amount of emotion that people pour into these reviews, it's obviously a highly emotional thing for people with their pets, and they want to make sure that they're safe. And when they have that positive experience, that's really what drives us, is that customer satisfaction.
Now, a quick question. When you mentioned that this wire is all buried around the property, what do you do about areas where you have like a driveway that goes through, or whatever? How do you contain that too?
That's probably our number one most common question. We have a saw that cuts through. We can either go through the joint where the asphalt and the curb meet. There's a natural joint there. So we just open that up, put the wire down in, and then fill it with a sealer, sweep the debris back over, and you'd never know we were in there with the wire.
Perfect.
Cement driveways and paver driveways, we can do a lot of creative things to get across there where nobody will even ever know.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Dave?
Very cool. I love it. And I think the reason that I asked the question about the whole having the big, large competitor,
Yep.
there are a lot of businesses that get really antsy when they have competition, that, competition is bad, somebody else is going to take business away from me. It's actually usually very beneficial. There's a reason, like, where you see a Walgreens, you now see what's the new one now? CVS.
Yep.
You now see a CVS across the street because they know they're going to get business just because that other one's already been there. It's a benefit to your business to have competition.
Without a doubt. We're visiting with David O'Brien here from Hidden Fence of Minnesota. You can find him on the web, hiddenfence.org. Again, the website, hiddenfence.org. And the contact number is 952-492-6660. Again, that's 952-492-6660. Kevin Hunter with Dave Ford here on the Business Forum Show, chatting with David O'Brien from Hidden Fence. Thanks for being on the show with us.